What's your favorite type of cuisine, and why?
Oh, I've always been a fan of Italian cuisine. There is something incredibly comforting about a plate of well-made pasta, and the flavors of Italian dishes are just so rich and diverse. I think it's the perfect balance of simplicity and depth. Plus, who can resist a good pizza or a creamy risotto? I find that Italian food has this unique ability to bring people together. Whenever I have a chance to dine at an Italian restaurant, it's not just about the food. It's about the whole experience, the ambience, the wine, and the company. I think that's what makes it my all-time favorite.
Do you enjoy cooking? And if so, what's your signature dish?
I do love cooking. It's a form of creative expression for me. One dish I'm quite proud of is my homemade lasagna. It's a labor of love, with layers of perfectly cooked pasta, a rich bolognese sauce, creamy bechamel, and plenty of cheese. I think what makes it special is the way I layer the ingredients and let it bake to perfection. It's a dish that takes time and patience, but the end result is always worth it. It's the kind of meal that brings people together, and I love sharing it with friends and family during special gatherings. How do you maintain a healthy diet while juggling a busy schedule? Maintaining a healthy diet with a busy schedule can be challenging, but it's definitely doable with some planning. I prioritize meal prep and always have a well-stocked kitchen. I focus on balanced meals, including lots of vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. It's all about making smart choices. I also avoid processed foods as much as possible. I find that cooking in batches on the weekends and portioning out meals for the week helps a lot. And I make sure to have healthy snacks like fruits and nuts on hand, so I'm not tempted to reach for junk food when I'm on the go. Staying hydrated is crucial too, so I always have a reusable water bottle with me.
What's your most memorable dining experience, and what made it so special? One of the most memorable dining experiences I've ever had was during a trip to Thailand. I dined at this tiny, family-run restaurant on a secluded beach. The combination of the stunning sunset view and the delicious, authentic Thai cuisine made it unforgettable. The flavors were incredibly fresh and vibrant. I tried dishes I'd never even heard of before, and it was such an adventure for my taste buds. What really made it special, though, was the warm hospitality of the family that owned the place. They treated us like we were long-lost friends, and it felt like more than just a meal. It was a glimpse into the local culture and way of life.
How do you accommodate dietary restrictions when cooking for a group of people with different preferences?
When cooking for a group with various dietary restrictions and preferences, I like to plan a menu that offers a variety of options. I start by asking everyone about their dietary needs and preferences in advance. This way, I can create a menu that includes something for everyone, whether it's vegetarian, gluten-free, or any other specific requirements. I also try to make the dishes as customizable as possible, so guests can build their plates to suit their tastes. It's all about being inclusive and ensuring that everyone can enjoy the meal without feeling like they're missing out. Communication is key, and I'm always open to suggestions and feedback to make sure everyone has a great dining experience.
How do you manage your time effectively?
Managing time effectively is a critical skill in our fast-paced world. I start by setting clear goals and priorities. I use a to-do list or planner to organize tasks and allocate time for each. I try to avoid multitasking because it can decrease productivity. I also make sure to allocate time for breaks and relaxation to prevent burnout. Continuous self-assessment helps me refine my time management strategies.
What's your daily routine like in terms of time?
My daily routine is carefully structured to make the most of my time. I typically wake up at 6 a.m. to get a head start on the day. I allocate time for exercise and meditation in the morning to energize myself. During work hours, I focus on the most important tasks first, which is usually in the morning when I'm most productive. I schedule meetings and less demanding tasks for the afternoon. In the evenings, I reserve time for relaxation, family, and personal hobbies. How do you find time for self-care and hobbies in your busy schedule?
It can be challenging, but self-care and hobbies are crucial for maintaining balance. I try to allocate at least 30 minutes each day for self-care, whether it's reading, going for a walk, or practicing mindfulness. On weekends, I set aside several hours for hobbies I'm passionate about, like painting or playing a musical instrument. It's all about prioritizing and making time for what matters most.
Do you have any time management tips for people who often feel overwhelmed?
Absolutely.
When overwhelmed, it's essential to take a step back and assess your priorities. Consider delegating tasks when possible. Break down big projects into smaller, manageable tasks and set clear deadlines. Avoid procrastination by tackling the most challenging tasks first. Time blocking can also help, where you allocate specific time slots for different activities. Lastly, don't forget to take short breaks to recharge and refocus.
How has technology impacted the way you manage your time?
Technology has transformed the way I manage time. I use productivity apps and digital calendars to keep track of appointments and deadlines. Time tracking apps help me identify areas where I can improve efficiency. Email and messaging apps enable quick communication, saving time on coordination. However, I also recognize the need to set boundaries with technology to prevent it from becoming a time sink.
How do you strike a balance between work and personal time?
Balancing work and personal time is a constant effort. I set clear boundaries by defining specific working hours and sticking to them. I also communicate my availability to colleagues and friends to manage expectations. Taking regular vacations and unplugging from work helps recharge and maintain a work-life balance. It's about knowing when to disconnect and prioritize personal life.
What's your favorite place to shop for groceries?
I really enjoy shopping at the local farmers market. They have fresh produce and artisanal products that you can't find in regular supermarkets. How about you?
I like the convenience of a big supermarket. It has everything I need in one place, and it's great for saving time during the week. How do you decide what to buy when shopping for clothes?
Well, I usually start by assessing my wardrobe and identifying what's missing. Then I make a list of specific items or styles I'm looking for. How about you?
I'm more of a spontaneous shopper. I like to browse and see what catches my eye. Sometimes, I end up with things I didn't plan on buying.
What's your approach to budgeting when you go shopping for a big purchase, like electronics or furniture? I always do thorough research online to compare prices and read reviews. Then, I set a budget and try to stick to it. It's essential not to be swayed by salespeople. What about you? I'm the same way. I also like to take my time, especially for big purchases, and often sleep on the decision before making a final choice. Do you prefer online shopping or going to physical stores?
I've become quite the fan of online shopping recently. It's so convenient, especially for items like books and electronics. But I still enjoy the in-store experience for clothing and groceries. How about you?
I like the convenience of online shopping too, but I find it hard to resist the experience of walking around a physical store and seeing things in person. It's a nice balance for me.
How do you make environmentally conscious choices when shopping, like reducing plastic waste or buying sustainable products?
I try to bring my reusable bags and containers when shopping for groceries to reduce plastic waste. I also look for products with eco-friendly labels. What's your approach?
I'm on the same page. I also research brands that prioritize sustainability and look for certifications like fair trade or organic when I buy other items.
How do you handle impulse buying when you're out shopping and see something you really like? I've been guilty of impulse buying in the past, but now I try to remind myself of my budget and whether I really need the item. Sometimes, I take a photo and think it over for a day or two. How about you?
I'm working on it too. I've started setting a limit for impulse purchases each month to avoid overspending.
It's a work in progress.
How did you decide to work abroad?
Working abroad was a decision that stemmed from a combination of personal and professional factors. On a personal level, I've always been drawn to experiencing new cultures, meeting people from different backgrounds, and broadening my horizons. Professionally, I recognize the value of international experience in today's interconnected world. The opportunity to work in a foreign country not only allows me to gain a broader perspective, but also to develop a more global skill set that can be invaluable in my career.
What was the most challenging aspect of relocating for work?
The most challenging aspect of relocating for work was undoubtedly the cultural adjustment. Moving to a new country means adapting to different customs, norms, and sometimes even languages. This process can be both exciting and daunting. It involves everything from learning how to navigate daily life, such as grocery shopping and transportation, to understanding the unwritten rules of social interaction. Additionally, homesickness can be a real struggle. It's important to establish a support system, connect with other expats or locals, and be patient with yourself during this transition.
What advice would you give to someone considering an overseas job opportunity?
I would offer several pieces of advice. First and foremost, research and due diligence are essential. You should thoroughly investigate the country, city, and company you are considering. Understand the cost of living, legal requirements for working abroad, and any potential cultural differences. Secondly, be open-minded and flexible. The ability to adapt to new situations and remain resilient is crucial. Third, learn at least some of the local language. It not only helps with day-to-day interactions, but also demonstrates your commitment to integrating into the local culture. Finally, embrace the opportunity to travel and explore the region, making the most of your time abroad.
Can you share some memorable cultural experiences from your time abroad?
There have been numerous memorable cultural experiences during my time abroad. One that stands out is participating in a traditional local festival. It was an incredible immersion into the culture, complete with traditional music, dance, and cuisine. I've also had the privilege of attending weddings and other significant life events of local friends, which provided deep insights into their customs and traditions. Traveling around the region has exposed me to diverse landscapes, historical sites, and art forms that have left a lasting impact on my appreciation for the world's cultural richness.
How do you maintain a work-life balance while working abroad, given the potential for longer hours in some cultures?
Maintaining a work-life balance while working abroad is a challenge, but it's essential. I've found that open communication with my employer and setting clear boundaries are key. It's crucial to establish expectations regarding working hours and time off. Additionally, I prioritize self-care and find local activities that help me relax and unwind. I've also made an effort to build a social support network, both with expats and locals, to ensure I have a life outside of work. Balancing work and life in a foreign culture requires mindfulness and, at times, assertiveness in advocating for your well-being.